Bleach my entire sink. I don't know if I would call it bleach. Yeah, it's bleach. Love this stuff. Okay, that's just a little cleaning tip. Before you cook, you wash all those vegetables in here, everything, and you have no idea how dirty your sink can get. So bleach your area before you start. It's a courtesy to the people that you're cooking for. All right, that's number one. Don't look at my nails. Now, usually I cook chicken thighs in my sauce, but for the ingredients for our sauce today, this is why I never give recipes, because it's different every single day. Today, the sauce is gonna have 3 onions, huge pile of basil, thank God, big thing of fresh parsley, and I've got 3, 6, 9, 10, I've got 11 garlic cloves. And then I've got 3 big cans of tomato sauce, 1 can of tomato puree, and 2 cans of the diced tomatoes. I actually like petite diced, but this is what I had a case of. Also, a huge thing of baby spinach. I'll explain that later. But that's the ingredients that we're going to use for our sauce, minus the chicken thighs. Also, I will use chicken bouillon. I might even throw a little bit of beef bouillon in it. My family doesn't use olive oil. Like, I remember my Aunt Flora yelling at me when I said, do you use olive oil for your sauce? So, you might prefer a regular vegetable oil, but I like extra virgin olive oil in my sauce. So that's the simple ingredients for our sauce. And we'll get started. Okay, for your ingredients for your balls, for the size that I'm making, 3.5 pounds of ground chuck. I do 80-20. You're gonna need 7 eggs. I do 2 eggs per pound. 1 big bunch of parsley. Sorry, I'm cheating, but this is the only garlic. Don't get the minced garlic. This brand is the only kind if you're gonna cheat. Like, I have fresh garlic, but I only have enough for my sauce. So, because they spread it and they smear it. This is an oily garlic. So if you're gonna cheat, you can use that. 1 big thing, I use the whole milk ricotta. And this is gonna sound crazy, but I think they work awesome. I freeze hot dog buns, and I do 2 hot dog buns per pound. I only had 6 hot dog buns, so 2 slices of white bread. So it either would have been 7 hot dog buns or 14 pieces of white bread. And it is better if the bread is stale. I know that sounds funny. Also, I have big Parmesan, so I'm gonna have to dice this smaller, but I'm gonna use a cup of this cheese. So, very simple. Salt, pepper, 7 eggs, parsley, big ricotta, garlic, your bread, and your meat, and your Parmesan. You can use Romano. I like either cheese. They're different. You can mix them, whatever. Actually, I probably won't do a whole cup for 3.5 pounds. I'll probably do like maybe 3/4 of a cup. So that's your meatball. Simple recipe. Don't forget, rinse your pan out with hot water before you cook in it. You don't know how long it's been in there. Dog hair could have floated in it. Anything. Rinse your pan out. Okay, again, make sure that you do not put your heat too high when you're sweating your onions. Nothing is worse than somebody burning their onions and garlic for their sauce. So I'm just gonna put this on like 4. Unfortunately, I have an electric stove. And I am going to get chopping. Oh, I don't have a knife. Wait. I already smell that olive oil. Okay. Gonna chop. And also, of course, making meatballs, probably the most intense thing with your hands. Scrub your hands like a surgeon. Scrub your hands like a surgeon. Let's get chopping. Get any leftover pieces. This marble cutting board is not ideal. I obviously am a germaphobe, and I feel like wooden cutting boards, although much better for your knives, I just don't feel like you can get them clean. I feel like wood is so absorbent that I would rather ruin my knives than have a wooden cutting board. How's that? One down. Honestly, I don't think you want to sit there and watch me chop all these onions. So I think what I should do is chop my onions and then show you how I'm going to do the basil. And come back. I'll show you one more time. Even though I'm sure everybody knows how to cut an onion. I mean, you are Italian, or you're not allowed to be watching this. This is secret gravy sharing time. So, if you don't know how to cut an onion, then get out. I'm just kidding. I hope this onions don't make me start sniffling like last time. I sniffled that entire video. Yeah, and if you're sick, don't cook either. I'm just saying. After you work in the restaurant business and you see what people do with food, it can really mess with your head. I think that's why I hardly ever eat out. I'm just saying. Because chances are I can cook it better anyway. Alright. Chances are you can cook it better too. If you know what it's supposed to taste like, if you have a palate that knows what something is supposed to taste like, then you can cook it. I mean, honestly, you can sit, if you sit and somebody gives you a bowl of something, you should be able to close your eyes and pretty much identify the ingredients. I actually like doing that. That would be a fun game. And I'm not doing these super duper small. I mean, I am sorry that I don't have chicken. I almost always put chicken in my sauce. For this sauce, right now, I would be sauteing 4 thighs. And I like the thighs because of the fat content. Skin on, bone on, I would let them be in that pot simmering right now. Not to mention, it's a phenomenal dish, almost like a cacciatore, where you can just, instead of meatballs, like the second day when you don't want the meatballs again, or maybe the third day, you can have your chicken with sauce and pasta, and it's a different meal, but it is so delicious. My father loves that. He also loves it when you take a meatball and fry it up like a burger. But we're not at the meatballs yet. I'll tell you that story then. All right, so you guys know my thing about garlic already. Smash that baby. See the oil that comes out? You gotta smash that garlic, people. You can almost hear it squirt. Smash it, smash it, smash it. And I would say this is probably 10 average size cloves. And then again, walk your knife. Just keep walking your knife back and forth. You might even want to give it a little smear. Get it all oily. That garlic oil is what marries with the acid in the sauce and just flavors the entire pot of sauce. You gotta get it small. I really do need better knives. I'm really hard on knives, so I stopped getting expensive ones a long time ago. I don't think I have a knife here over $30. Because I ruin them with this marble. But there's no germs on here. That's better than having a better knife. Even though they say a chef is only as good as their knives. So maybe I suck. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put that in there. And then this is how I'm gonna do this basil. I am gonna take it. I took all the thickest parts of the stems off. And I am just gonna julienne this stuff. Just gonna put it in a tight little ball and do thin strips all the way across. I love seeing green in a sauce. In fact, that's half the reason why I put a big bag of baby spinach leaves in there, because not only do I think it's good for you, it's a good way to get spinach into my kid, but I think it's beautiful. It's just beautiful in the sauce. I like seeing green in my sauce. And it doesn't have to be super small. I love basil. Love, love, love. It smells phenomenal. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put that in there. And same thing with the parsley. I did rinse it. And I wanted to show you how I do it because a lot of people don't know how. Cut it right where the stems start to not have leaves on them. Keep it together. And I make it tight, just like the basil. And cut straight up this stem. I'm trying to be like less than 1/8 of an inch all the way up, and that smells delicious too. Parsley is filled with vitamin C, you know. My mom is a nutritionist, and I can tell you what every food is and what it does for your body, because every meal we had, she told us what it was doing for us. So yeah, but good source of vitamin C. And again, doesn't have to be super duper small. That's good. Now let's put that in there. So we have 10 cloves of garlic, 3 onions, huge handful of basil and a huge handful of parsley. Probably easily over a cup of each. Those can go right in there. There, let's just throw everything in here. All right, now I'm gonna let that simmer and I'll be back. All right, guys, I want you to see what it looks like. Do you see how my onions are starting to be translucent and all of the parsley is wilted? Big mistake people make is they put their sauce in before their onions are wilted. Not good. Okay, right now I am going to do the nasty. Like I said, I wish I had real base paste. I'm out of it, so I'm using these types of bouillon. Let me get myself a spoon. They still work though. Trust me, the sauce will still be phenomenal. I'm gonna put 3 heaping of this chicken base. Like, heaping, people. Like, you can't get no more on that spoon. And I'm going to put 1 part beef. Now, this is just going to give it, just spilt it everywhere, flavor that I'm not getting from meat because I don't have any meat in my sauce. Also, you can be creative. Some people put sausage, some people put a beef bone. I mean, there's lots of ways that you can flavor your sauce. This right now is basically a pantry sauce. You know, it's like the easiest recipe you can do. There's so many different ways to do spaghetti sauce. This is always, though, my go-to because I always have this stuff in my house. So, I'm gonna go ahead and give that a good stir. Make sure there's no little powdered pieces left. And let you look at it. And now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start putting in our diced tomatoes. They can go in first. And then we're going, by the way, I found another little Hunt's sauce in my pantry, so I added that. Honestly, put a whole bunch of red stuff so that your sauce fills the pot halfway full. Like any mixture you have, as long as it's mostly sauce or tomato puree, it's gonna work. I promise. So once you get your tomatoes in there, you want to give it a good stir, see what you're working with. Also, I don't like a thick sauce. I don't like it. I don't like a thick sauce. So this is not a thick sauce. It will have chunky pieces of tomato, but I don't like it when my sauce sits on top of my pasta. I like my sauce to just marry my pasta. That's not what I was thinking, but yeah, I like my sauce to get into my noodles. All right, all stirred up, and here's another thing. Just this is your cleanliness. I wash the tops of my cans. Can you imagine all the people that are touching these cans and their fingers and So wash the tops of your cans. Hot water, people, hot water. This is a very dirty world. All right, let's go ahead and put our sauce in. I have 1 big tomato puree. I have all kinds of red stuff because every time I go to the store, I just buy a couple cans of what's on sale. I can make any sauce taste good. I mean, I like Hunt's. I really like doing a straight sauce with tomatoes and just tomato paste to thicken it in the summer. Speaking of tomatoes, because I have these sitting here and they're just getting too old to use, I'm going to go ahead and slice these tomatoes up and put them right in there. Good source of vitamin C, and you know what? You'll be able to tell when you taste this that there were fresh tomatoes in this sauce. Just a couple tomatoes. If you even have just a couple fresh tomatoes, go ahead and throw them in there. Just chop them fairly, you know, small, smaller than a bite, and throw them in the sauce. Because, you know, it's good for you, it tastes good, and people might think you did the whole thing with fresh tomatoes if they get a few fresh chunks. You might be able to lie. I'm just kidding. You shouldn't do that. Don't do that. So yeah, cut this up. Again, I have a horrible knife to do this. I'm sure you guys have beautiful knife sets. That's what somebody can buy me for Christmas, just in case you were wondering what I would like for Christmas. A really expensive knife set so I can ruin it on my marble cutter. In the meantime, I'm really doing this for my cousin Roseanne. Can you believe that last time I was in, I hugged her and she smelled so good. Oh my God, she smelled so good. And I'm like, cousin, oh my God, you smell so good. What are you wearing? Isn't it just like her that I just got a bottle of that perfume in the mail? I mean, you cannot tell a Policano you like their tie, or they'll take their tie off and give it to you. Just like my father. Oh, Dad, I love that. Whatever. Here, you want it? Here, take it. It's yours. You can have it. It's almost like, don't tell a Policano you like what they have, because then they feel like they got to give it to you. That poor thing had to go out and buy me that perfume just because I said I liked it, and I knew better. I wasn't thinking. But it smells so good. Thank you, cousin. I smell so good right now making this sauce. My mother would get mad if I had on perfume and I was cooking. If you think I'm a germaphobe, woo! My mother takes the cake. All right, so we are going to totally stir our sauce. I'll show it to you in a minute. And now, obviously, if we had chicken in here, you're gonna bring that thing to a good moving simmer. And make sure before you even taste it, that thing has been on the stove for 45 minutes. But since we basically have a vegetarian sauce here, well, I guess the bouillon might have some traces, considering it's not even expensive bouillon. But we could taste this at any time, but I'm not going to right now. I'm going to give it a good stir, and then I'm going to shock you, because I'm going to take one of these, I think it's a 2-ounce ramekin. I don't know what it is. I can't believe it doesn't say it on the bottom. Who are these people? Oh, I just spilled coal all over my... And my thing fell, my duct tape. All right, I'll be back. I'm probably going to leave that disaster on there because it's pretty funny. Okay, we're going to try this again. I think that's 2 ounces. But you're going to get the gist, because I'm going to take that much sugar and put it in that sauce. Don't freak out. And now I'm going to do something else. It's crazy. I don't know how to get in this cabinet with my I am going to take, this is dark brown sugar. And I'm gonna get a handful, like that much. And I'm gonna put it in there. Don't freak out. Yeah, my sauce is sweet, but it's really good. It cooks down, it's really good. The brown sugar equals out the white sugar, equals out the chicken stock. I bet you guys are thinking, that girl's also worried about germs. She needs a hairnet on. Trust me, I've had 2 restaurants and I've cooked my whole life and I've never had a hair in my food. Ask anybody. So it's okay. I would see it fall. I'm very attentive. Plus my hair is clean. Okay, so I shocked you with the sugar. We're good to go. Last but not least, this is gonna seem crazy too, but I'm telling you, if you make this sauce, you're gonna die. I'm putting this whole thing of, this time I got baby spinach, so no chopping. And it's gonna be so beautiful, it's so beautiful. Okay, let's put that in there. And it, you know how spinach is, it wilts down to nothing anyways. It actually just looks like you have whole basil leaves in your sauce, but you know, obviously it's not as strong as basil. So we're gonna stir that spinach in there, and people, watch your sauce. Stir your sauce, because the minute you feel something on the bottom of the pan, you're burning it. Nothing worse than burning sauce. I will never forget, this had to be 20 years ago. My father took me to one of his friend's house to make my famous family meatballs. And I mean, this guy's kitchen, chef kitchen, 2 Viking stoves. I mean, my dad just had his little trophy tally girl coming to make the meatballs. I burned them. I burned them. I'll never forget that day. And my dad was so nice, but he was so mad. I know he was. But he was nice. He felt sorry for me. I was nervous. I hadn't cooked for people that much yet. And gosh, that had to be 30 years ago. Now I'm telling my age. Because I look 30, huh? Okay. We're going to let our sauce simmer for the next 2 hours. Okay? Now we're going to do our balls. I'll be back. Okay, guys. First thing we're gonna do for our balls is we're gonna cut our bread. And since this bread was in the freezer, it's still slightly frozen, so it should be really easy to cut. I know it's hot dog rolls, but you gotta trust me on this one. Now, I just do it once in the center, and then pretty small, just like diced. They're probably like maybe 1/2 inch diced. And I'm gonna put them in my bowl. Once down the center,